These scientists at the South Pole have discovered the remains of what appears to be an alien creature, but they are about to discover that this is not the only form it can take. In 1982, Antarctica, a husky is seen running from a Norwegian helicopter. There is a man in the helicopter who is trying to shoot the dog, but the husky appears to be cleverly dodging the bullets. Meanwhile, at a nearby American research facility, a pilot named McCready is playing chess against a computer, and when he is defeated, he pours alcohol into the machine, destroying it. What a sore loser. After running for a while, the dog arrives at the American facility, and the Norwegian helicopter follows it, which alarms the American researchers and military personnel present on site. The helicopter lands as the dog heads into the facility. The Norwegian man takes out a grenade to throw at the dog, but it slips out of his hand and explodes near the helicopter instead, destroying it. The frustrated man arrives inside the facility to find the dog befriending McCready and the crew. He angrily warns them, but since he is speaking Norwegian, none of them understand him. He shoots at the dog, but the bullet accidentally hits one of the Americans named Bennings. They assume he is here with hostile intent, and the American commander Gary shoots and kills the Norwegian man in self-defense. Next, they all investigate the charred remains of the helicopter, while a man named Clark comforts the dog. The doctor at the facility named Copper stitches up Bennings' leg. Afterward, the chief mechanic, Childs, Dr. Copper, Commander Gary, the chef, Knowles, and assistant mechanic Palmer all discuss what could have made the Norwegian man go crazy like this. Knowles argues that living at the South Pole tends to make a lot of people crazy, but Copper says that the Norwegians haven't been here long enough to go insane like this. He decides to take a helicopter with McCready as the pilot and check out the Norwegian facility. McCready warns that the weather isn't great, so they are taking a risk by flying right now, but Copper insists that this could be urgent. After they leave, the dog quietly enters the room of a crew member. McCready and Copper arrive at the Norwegian facility and discover that it is a complete ruin. There are signs that something horrific took place there. There is blood all over the floor and walls, and they find a man who appears to have committed suicide by slitting his own wrists. Copper collects some Norwegian research work, while McCready finds a portable video unit. Next, in a back room, McCready finds a giant slab of ice, and Copper theorizes that perhaps the Norwegians found some kind of fossil in the ice, and that's why they cut out this slab. As the two head out, they spot the charred remains of a strange, twisted, disfigured-looking creature that appears to have some humanoid features, including a disfigured face. Copper has no idea what it is, but McCready notices the bottle of gasoline next to the corpse and points out that whatever it was, the Norwegians were in a hurry to burn it. They bring the body of the creature back to the American facility, and the senior biologist Blair is asked to perform an autopsy. Commander Clark asks the radio operator Windows to try and make contact with anyone outside so that they can report this to the authorities, but Windows says that the current weather conditions make it nearly impossible to establish radio contact. Next, the autopsy reveals that the twisted creature has all the normal internal organs that a human does, which confuses everyone. Meanwhile, Clark puts the husky in the kennel with the other dogs, and they all immediately start snarling at it. The reason is revealed as the dog transforms into a disgusting and twisted alien creature out of nowhere. The alien creature attacks the other dogs with a strange liquid, and the panicked barks of the dogs attract Clark. Clark opens the kennel door and one of the dogs jumps out at him. He sees the alien creature still inside and rushes to close the door. McCready hears the commotion and immediately sounds the alarm. He orders Childs to come to the kennel and bring a flamethrower. The entire crew arrives and watches the alien creature as it attacks and almost absorbs the other dogs into its own disfigured body. Childs arrives and goes into shock at the sight of the alien creature, but then he comes to his senses and sets the creature on fire, killing it. Blair observes the alien creature's dead body and learns that it is an organism that imitates other life forms perfectly. As they arrived at the kennel, the thing was digesting the other dogs, and in the process was shaping its cells to imitate them. However, it appears that they killed it before it could finish the imitation. Just to be safe, the doctor takes a blood sample from the one dog that is still alive. While doing that, he realizes that Clark has spent the entire day with the alien creature when it was disguised as a dog, and was even alone with it. He gets suspicious. Next, MacReady watches the footage from the portable video unit and sees that the Norwegians blew a much bigger hole in the ice than the slab he and Copper saw at the facility. Through the notes, they found it is revealed where the Norwegians did this, and MacReady and Copper visit the location. They arrive at a giant crater with the ruins of a massive UFO inside it. Nearby is the cutout of the slab they saw. Copper theorizes that this spaceship has been frozen for over 100,000 years, while MacReady theorizes that whatever creature was inside the ship tried to get out and was frozen until the Norwegians defrosted it. As MacReady and Copper return to the facility, Childs and Commander Gary have a hard time believing this story. Meanwhile, Nails complains that someone disposed of their underwear in the kitchen trash can. Blair runs a computer simulation that demonstrates how the alien cells assimilate and imitate the cells of another organism. The computer reveals that there is a 75% probability one of the crew members is an alien creature imitation already. Furthermore, it calculates that if this creature reaches civilization, the entire world could be infected within 27,000 hours. The doctor orders that the bodies of the alien creatures they have caught be stored in a locked room. Meanwhile, the assistant biologist Fuchs asks to speak with MacReady. He tells MacReady that Blair has locked himself in his room and won't come out. His notes reveal his theories, which state that these aliens could have possibly taken over many other planets and life forms like this. He also states that there is still some cellular activity in the charred remains he studied. Bennings is left alone in the storeroom with the bodies of the alien creatures, and when Palmer arrives, he sees Bennings being consumed by the creature. He calls out to MacReady and Fuchs, and they arrive to find the alien imitation of Bennings making a run for it. They catch him and find that he is almost completely done with the imitation. MacReady burns him. MacReady then orders that all the other remains be brought outside and burned until there's nothing left of them. As the rest of them go inside, MacReady notices Blair coming out of the helicopter with an axe and running inside. He discovers that Blair has wrecked all the controls on the helicopter, which is the only way in and out of this place. Next, it is revealed that Blair is holding the radio room and shooting anyone who tries to come inside. Blair shouts that the alien wants to take over the entire planet, which is why he cannot allow it to leave this place. He destroys any means of establishing radio contact with the outside world. As Blair runs out of bullets, MacReady rushes in and knocks him out. Next, Blair is locked in a tool shed, and MacReady tries to talk to him, but he replies that he doesn't know who to trust. As MacReady is about to leave, Blair cryptically advises him to watch Clark closely because he's been alone with the dog. Meanwhile, Clark is horrified to see that Blair has killed the remaining dog in the kennel. MacReady and the others discuss that they need a way to confirm who is an imitation and who is not. Copper comes up with a test. He says that if they mix uncontaminated blood with imitated blood, there would be a reaction that would reveal the truth. The only blood they can be sure is uncontaminated is the one they have in storage. Next, it is revealed that all the blood they have in storage has been compromised. Clearly, the alien does not want them to run the test. Only Copper and Commander Gary have the keys to the blood container, so those two are the primary suspects. Windows starts panicking at all this uncertainty and rushes to grab a gun, but Commander Gary catches him and points a gun at him. He puts the gun down. Commander Gary understands that he's a suspect and hands over the leadership role to MacReady. MacReady orders that Commander Gary, Regular Gary, and Copper be given morphine and knocked out, since they are all suspects. He then asks Fuchs to come up with some other way to test who is an imitation and who is not. In his office, MacReady makes a recording to explain what is happening here in case none of them survive. In the recording, he points out that when the alien imitates a human, it rips through their clothes. That's why Knowles found some underwear in the kitchen trash can. Fuchs tells MacReady that even a single cell of this organism is enough to create an entire imitation, so they should all prepare their own meals and only eat out of cans. After MacReady leaves, someone blows the fuse in Fuchs's office, leaving him in the dark. He steps outside, chasing a shadow, and discovers a torn jacket with MacReady's name on it. Next, MacReady informs the rest that Fuchs is missing, and he, Windows, and Knowles go to find him. They discover his burned body and deduce that he killed himself to avoid being assimilated by the alien. Windows goes back, but MacReady notices that the light is on in his shack and goes with Knowles to investigate. When the two don't return for an hour, Childs orders that they seal all the doors of the facility. As they are doing this, Knowles returns. He says that he purposely lost MacReady in the storm because he found a torn jacket with his name on it, suggesting that he is an imitation. Just then, MacReady breaks into the facility. The others try to kill him, but he threatens to blow the entire facility up with dynamite if they come close. During this confrontation, one of the crew members named Norris has a heart attack, and MacReady allows Copper to attend to him while pointing a flamethrower at the rest of them. As Copper puts a defibrillator to Norris's chest, it turns into the mouth of the alien creature and eats off Copper's hands. MacReady burns the creature, and just then, Norris's head comes off, grows legs, and tries to crawl away. MacReady spots this and burns it as well. This gives him an idea. He tells Windows to tie the entire crew to chairs and take a sample of their blood. Clark resists this idea and lunges at MacReady with a knife, prompting him to shoot and kill Clark. Next, MacReady explains that Norris's head coming off revealed to him that each part of the alien creature is its own animal, with its own survival instinct. Hence, they are going to test everyone's blood with a heated wire. If it's normal blood, it won't react, but the alien blood will defend itself. All the crew members pass the test except for Palmer, whose blood reacts. Being exposed, the imitated Palmer transforms and tries to defend itself. It attacks and kills Windows. MacReady proceeds to burn both of them. Next, Childs is left guard at the facility, while MacReady, Commander Clark, and Knowles go to test Blair. They arrive to find that Blair has broken out of the tool shed. They further discover that he has dug a tunnel underneath the shed and has been building some kind of ship using parts from the helicopter. Next, Knowles spots Childs coming out of the facility for some unknown reason, and just then, the power goes out all over the facility. MacReady assumes that Blair snuck in and shut down the generators. This will cause the entire facility to dip to freezing temperatures, which is bad for them, because they will all die. But the alien will simply go into hibernation and wait for the next team to come and discover it. Knowles, Clark, and MacReady all agree that they are not making it out of here alive, so their best course of action is to make sure that they kill the alien with them. They destroy the ship that the Blair alien has been building with dynamite and proceed to destroy most of the facility using Molotovs. Next, they decide to set up 3 major dynamite charges all over the facility to destroy everything, leaving the alien no chance of surviving. However, as Knowles and Gary are setting up the charges, they both get attacked and assimilated by the Blair alien. Finally, the alien, enormous in size now, attacks MacReady and swallows the charge he was setting up. MacReady has one last stick of dynamite left, which he lights and throws at the alien. The explosion triggers the explosion of all the other charges that the alien swallowed, and an enormous blast takes place, which destroys the entire facility. As a freezing MacReady walks through the ruins, Childs arrives, and MacReady suspiciously asks him where he went. He replies that he thought he saw Blair and went out after him but got lost in the storm. MacReady is still a little suspicious, but as they are both about to freeze to death, they recognize that there's point of these suspicions anymore. They both decide to share a drink in their final hours. The end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.